Oh yes, it's going to be a bright, sunshiny day when the United Progressive Party is returned to office in 2014. And you will have to make sure of that. My dear good people, what a wonderful showing here tonight. Thank you once again for coming out in such tremendous numbers as we carry this campaign upwards and forwards to make sure that when the day comes, God's willing, that you will be prepared, you will be ready, you will be resolute, and you will be determined to ensure that the United Progressive Party is returned once more to continue the transformation of Antigua and Barbuda. My dear good people, we cannot be weary in well-doing. We've got to continue this battle. The enemy is out there. They're trying all kinds of tricks. They're doing all sorts of things, trying to destabilize Antigua and Barbuda, trying to create an atmosphere of dissension, an atmosphere, my dear good people, of uncertainty. But I want you to remain firm. I want you to keep the faith. We are on to a good thing here, my dear good people. We've gone through difficulties. We've gone through challenges. But we're beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel. The economy of Antigua and Barbuda is on the rebound. There is nothing to rebuild. There's absolutely nothing to rebuild. We have already rebuilt it. We are now on the rebound. And the economy of Antigua and Barbuda is turning the corner. Since 2007, according to the latest figures, my dear good people, since 2007, we have had our best tourism results in 2013. From 2007, my dear good people, 2013, we have had the best tourism results since that time. So it simply means that the economy of Antigua and Barbuda is on the rebound, my dear good people. And that is why you've got to stay with it. That is why you've got to stick with what you know, and who you know, and who you can trust. You can trust the United Progressive Party, and you can trust your humble servant. We have done all the hard work, man. We have done a lot of hard work to keep Antigua and Barbuda on track. We have done a lot of hard work, my dear good people, to steer the ship of state, keeping it afloat, my dear good people, in very difficult and trying times. As I often say to you, and I must repeat it, I am saying to you, my dear good people, that if you did not have the United Progressive Party government as a team of committed individuals who would have dedicated ourselves to ensuring that Antigua and Barbuda remained a viable state, this country would have totally and completely collapsed. I am telling you, my dear good people, we have got to thank the Almighty God for ensuring that in 2009 we won the elections, so that at least, my dear good people, we could have had a firm hand, a good grip on the situation, and to keep our dear land afloat to a point now where we are on the rebound. We are seeing, my dear good people, that the economy of Antigua and Barbuda is moving upwards and forwards. Just this afternoon, my dear good people, we had an exhibition of two of the houses that have been constructed under the bow panel arrangement with Chapel. We have a partnership with this group. And my dear good people, that housing project in the Lightfoot area, 2 houses have been constructed with a particular type of material. And I used to hear Western and now they call them, what they call them? Eggshell. Well, I want you to go up to Lightfoot and look at those 2 splendid edifices up there as houses and see if you see eggshell up there. My dear good people, that is the beginning of another wonderful experiment in housing that is going to benefit the ordinary people of Antigua and Barbuda. And one of the things about that program, my dear good people, whereas when you used to have to go and deal with the banks, and you have to put down so much in deposit, what we have done, my dear good people, the land which is there as part of the overall project, we were able to devise a mechanism with the investors and with the bank that the land that the government is putting in becomes the equity in the housing project. It becomes equity in the housing project. So you do not have to put down any deposit. And when you pay whatever the rate is per month, it's just like when you're paying rent, but you're paying rent for your own house. You understand what I'm saying? And it is affordable, and you're getting good houses. My dear good people, that is the work of the United Progressive Party administration, always looking out for making it better for the ordinary men and women. Whereas in other situations, for the type of houses that are going to be built, you have to be paying $1,500 per month. None of those houses, my dear good people, will fetch for $1,000. All of them will be less. And you don't have to put down no massive deposit, which you don't have. And when you pay a monthly rent, that is going towards the mortgage payments which you will get after 25 years. In other words, the mortgage is spread over a 25-year period. But the important thing is that whereas in other situations you pay rent, you don't own the house, and you pay and pay and pay. If you're living there for 30 years, you still pay rent. It's not yours. This time around, my dear good people, the concept is that when you pay the rent, based on the loan, based on the amount of money, the house is yours. And so, my dear good people, we are finding innovative ways of ensuring that we make it better for you. And there are 4 sites that have been identified throughout Antigua where this kind of housing project will be developed. But one of the important things that we're doing with that as well, my dear good people, is not just to introduce this housing project. It's not just to make sure that we can produce some 5,000 houses all over Antigua over the next several years. It is more than that. As part of the overall arrangement, my dear good people, part of the plan with this group, my dear good people, is for them to put down a factory here in Antigua where the type of material that is being manufactured will be manufactured in Antigua, not only to build the houses here in Antigua and Barbuda, but to be exported into other Caribbean islands and to Latin America. My dear good people, we are diversifying the economy of Antigua and Barbuda, and when that factory is built, it means that we're going to create jobs for our people. We are going to have foreign exchange earnings as a result of that factory being here. Because when they export, when they manufacture the material here and they export it to Latin America and the Caribbean, Antigua and Barbuda will be earning foreign exchange. And so, my dear good people, it's a total package. And I look forward to the day when this whole thing develops and unfolds to the extent where we not only get houses, we not only get these houses, my dear good people, that are good houses, but we're also getting a factory to manufacture the material and to do a number of things associated with this housing project and build the economy through this kind of mechanism. So, my dear good people, you have a government that is working for you. And in addition to that, my dear good people, there are a number of things in the pipeline. We have the Perns Point project out there, Jolly Harbor. That is unfolding. We have a number of other developments that are coming on stream, my dear good people. We just got to keep doing what we're doing. We just got to keep ensuring that you understand and appreciate what this government is doing for the people of Antigua and Barbuda. I don't have to go over what we have done with our social programs, where we have ensured that the most vulnerable in our society are taken care of. We have ensured, my dear good people, that we provided areas of opportunity for our young people. Our scholarship program is second to none anywhere in the Caribbean. What we have done for the elderly, my dear good people, ensuring that they're taken care of again, is second to none in the Caribbean. Our ICT program, again, is second to none in the Caribbean. You heard of people coming here, looking at our GATE program. We have had them come from all the way Papua New Guinea. Now we hear them coming from St. Vincent, and they're coming from Trinidad and Tobago, and they're coming from all around, looking at what we have done with respect to ICTs in Antigua and Barbuda, and particularly the GATE program. And then again, very shortly, we will be launching the HEART program, which is another aspect of our overall ICT program. My dear good people, we are giving you a total package. We are looking after everybody. We have not been able to solve all the problems. We have not been able to provide everything for everybody. But what I can say to you is that we have done the greatest good for the greatest number of the people of Antigua and Barbuda. And when you look at where we came from and what we have had to do to keep Antigua and Barbuda afloat, you must give yourselves a pat on your shoulder, because without you, we wouldn't be able to do it. Without you, my dear good people, we would not be able to maintain what we have been able to maintain over these difficult years. We have a lot of work to do still. We have accomplished a lot, but there's much work to do, my dear good people, and that is why we cannot change course now. That is why we have got to remain on course, because Antigua and Barbuda needs the United Progressive Party, my dear good people. We need it as we go through this period, and as we move to high heights. We need to be able to maintain the ship of state and keep it moving forwards and upwards. My dear good people, as far as I am concerned, and I want to say to all my colleagues that we have a good team. We have an excellent team. I want you to just imagine for a second, when you examine the Antigua Labour Party and what they're presenting to the people of Antigua and Barbuda as a team, and you look at the United Progressive Party and the team we are a well-balanced, effective, educated, talented, committed and determined team to do good for Antigua and Barbuda. On the other hand, my dear good people, you have a set of just comes and rap scraps who are coming together, trying to give the people of Antigua and Barbuda the impression that they can turn water into wine. They can bring heaven and earth. They can do this, that, and the other. They can build 500 homes in 500 days. They can do this, that. Of course they can build 500 homes in 500 days if they're building foul cubs. You understand what I'm saying, my dear good people? And they come with all sorts of grandiose promises. When they hear that they're going to do this with tax, and when you ask Gaston Brown, all right, you say you're going to abolish personal income tax. When they ask you when, you say, well, sometime. They say, sometime. You tell the people that you're going to abolish income tax. And when they ask you, well, what are you going to replace it with? You don't know what you're going to replace it with. They say, when you're going to do it? He don't know. Can't tell you. Because again, my dear good people, he honestly knows that that is a pie in the sky. He just wants to make you be as gullible as they think you are. But I'm suggesting to you that you're more sensible than that. You understand fact from fiction. You have to have your head on, my dear good people. Nothing that these people tell you this day, in this day and age, you can trust them. You cannot trust them. They cannot be trusted, my dear good people. Cannot be trusted. They're just coming and saying that they can do everything. And it costs you nothing. They can't pay for nothing. Well, let me tell you this. We have done a lot for the people of Antigua and Barbuda. And we are satisfied that under the circumstances, we have done a good job. We are not saying, my dear, I want to tell you this. I will be the first to admit, my dear good people, that in some situations, we probably could have done better. And there might have been one or two mistakes here and there. But generally speaking, my dear good people, I am suggesting to you, and you can attest to it, that this administration has delivered for the people of Antigua and Barbuda over the years. And you can be proud and be satisfied with the fact that you have been supporting an institution, a party, and a government that is looking after your interest. My dear good people, in the field of agriculture, we have done wonders there. Again, we have difficulties, but we have demonstrated that the agricultural economy of Antigua and Barbuda is in far better shape. The farmers can tell you that this administration has delivered for them. I mean, just the other day, we brought in tons and tons of materials for the farmers. We have been doing a lot of things to assist the farming community in Antigua and Barbuda so that they can improve their production. And I heard one of them saying today that despite all the difficulties they're having, a lot of people are still producing. And the person even went on to say that the agricultural sector is so buoyant that you have people leaving other sectors of the economy and going into agriculture. A lot of young people are involved with agriculture in Antigua and Barbuda today. And they're finding it productive. They're finding it economically viable to do. And I'm saying this is because of the dynamic program that has been established by the United Progressive Party administration and the successive ministers of agriculture. And so, my dear good people, in every sector of society, we have sought to do things that will benefit the people of Antigua and Barbuda. In agriculture, in education, my dear good people, in all spheres of life, we have sought to do everything that is humanly possible to create the avenues, to create the opportunities for our people. We have got to continue on that road. There are a number of things that we have to do. The empowerment agenda has got to become deeper and stronger, where our people are empowered and where our people can become an part of the commanding heights of the economy of Antigua and Barbuda. That is the next phase. That is the next phase, my dear good people, for this dear country of ours. That is why we have got to stay focused. That is why all of us have got to understand what this election is all about. If you want to maintain those social programs, if you want to ensure that the most vulnerable in society is not left behind, if you want to ensure, my dear good people, that our educational program and our training programs are advanced and move forward, and more ordinary people can get the highest education that is possible. If you want to ensure that all these things continue, you've got to give support once again to the United Progressive Party. Don't you agree? Don't you agree that the United Progressive Party deserves your continued support? The hope for a better and brighter day for Antigua and Barbuda is with the United Progressive Party and you, the wonderful people of Antigua and Barbuda. I always have to thank you for the resilience that you have shown over these past 10 years, for the fact that you have remained and you have supported your government, and that you have made whatever sacrifices might have been made, my dear good people. But now we are turning the corner. Now we are on the rebound, and everybody will be the beneficiary of the efforts that we have made and whatever sacrifices we have had to go through over these past 10 years. So, my dear good people, we have to remain strong and we have to remain resolute. The only choice for Antigua and Barbuda is the United Progressive Party. And you want to be able to say that and to feel comfortable about it because it is true. And so, my dear good people, we cannot rest on our laurels. We cannot say, it is over. It is not over until it is over. So that is why I would always say to you, you got to make sure that in all the constituencies throughout Antigua and Barbuda, we go out there and we make sure that we galvanize all of our supporters, all of those persons who are sympathetic to the United Progressive Party, and to make sure that we organize, mobilize, and ensure that come election day, whenever that is called, that we go out there in our numbers, and we go out early, and we make sure that we vote overwhelmingly for the United Progressive Party candidate throughout Antigua. Because, my dear good people, the future of this country is in your hands. The future of this country is in your hands. And therefore, I urge you to make sure that you make the best choice. And the best choice is the United Progressive Party. Tried and tested. Tried and tested. And so, those who come in sheep's clothing, those who come with their braggadociousness, and those who come to you, my dear good people, believing that you are stupid, and you are dumb and you don't understand your left hand from your right hand. And they must understand, my dear good people, that in the situation in which we find ourselves, leadership matters. Leadership matters. And the United Progressive Party has been providing the kind of leadership in Antigua and Barbuda that we deserve to continue to deliver on behalf of the people of Antigua and Barbuda. My dear good people, when I listen to Gaston Brown, not only his moustache resembles a particular individual in political history, but his utterances clearly demonstrate that he is a modern Hitler. He is a dangerous character in this country. And my dear good people, I would shudder to think that not only would we have a Gaston Brown, but we would have to contend with a Asset Michael, a Lester Bird, a Chet Green, a Baldwin Joseph, a Cutie Benjamin, a Tito Lake, and all the, oh my goodness. My dear good people, do you realize what we're putting ourselves into? Do you realize what we're talking about here? Do you realize what we're up against here? We can't take any chance with these people. We're not going back there. We can't take no chance with them. We have got to stay the course, my dear good people. Remain firm and strong, because our cause is right, our cause is just, and our cause is for the betterment of Antigua and Barbuda. And there is where we are, my dear good people. There is where we are. Don't become deterred. Don't become taken in by some of their utterances, threatening me, talking about I am squatting. Well, somebody reminded them that squatters have rights. And I'm exercising my right as a squatter. Eh? All right, the same squatting. But as far as I know, squatters have rights. And I am exercising my right as a squatter to determine when the elections are called in Antigua and Barbuda. And so, my dear good people, I want you to be mindful of that. I am not going to be railroaded. I am not going to be railroaded. This party is not going to be railroaded. We have a constitution. We are guided by our constitution. And we know that the situation that we find ourselves in has nothing to do with the UPP. It has a lot to do with the Antigua Labour Party and what they've been trying to do. So, my dear good people, when the time comes, the date for the elections will be known. And, my dear good people, the people of Antigua and Barbuda will be called upon to do what they have to do on behalf of themselves, their respective communities, and the country of Antigua and Barbuda. And I have confidence. I have confidence. I believe in the people of Antigua and Barbuda to do the right thing when the time comes. So, my dear good people, I am not daunted. I am not worried. They can issue all kind of threats. They can continue to say this, that, and the other. My head is clear. My head is clear, and I have it on. You understand what I'm saying? And me and my colleagues, whatever we do, and however we do it, we have the interests of the people of Antigua and Barbuda always uppermost in our minds. Always raise uppermost in our minds, my dear good people. And so I want to urge all of us to do what we have to do. We have to galvanize our support in our respective constituencies. We've got to work with the candidates. We have got to be part of the campaign team, either directly or indirectly. We cannot take anything for chance at this general election. Yes, we are going to win it. I have no doubt about that. But you know, and we know that the Lord is on our side. I have no doubt that the Lord is on our side. Don't you agree? But I also want to remind you that the Lord himself says that he helps them who help themselves. So you have got to make sure that you do your work. And when you do your work, the Lord will make sure that he takes us over the hill. And so, my dear good people, we have got to continue along the road that we are going. Wherever we have to improve, wherever we have to make changes, to make things better, we will. But the point is, my dear good people, the vision that we have for Antigua and Barbuda as a country where we do the greatest good for the greatest number, where the ordinary people are empowered, where Antigua and Barbuda is a free, democratic society in which all of us can live together as human beings. That is what the United Progressive Party is all about. And our policies and programs are geared towards achieving that. We are on the way, my dear good people, of creating that ideal society, that new society, that society that everybody feels that he or she has a place and can feel comfortable to be called an Antiguan and Barbudan. And to even those who come and reside among us, my dear good people, Antigua and Barbuda is a wonderful little country. A wonderful little country, my dear good people. But you know, at one point when the Labour Party ruled the roost in Antigua, this little island of ours had descended into the kind of decadence, the kind of corruption, the kind of malfeasance, the kind of everything that is evil, that nobody respected Antigua and Barbuda. Nobody. Our name was dragged in the gutter for years by the actions of the Antigua Labour Party and their leaders, my dear good people. They did this country a grave injustice over a period of time. Antigua and Barbuda was described as a rogue and vagabond state. No respect, no regard. Our leaders could not be heard anywhere in the world, and anybody took them seriously. That was the state that we inherited when we took office in 2004. I want you to remember this because that's the truth. And my dear good people, as a new government, we went about changing the image of Antigua and Barbuda. And we've done an excellent job, my dear good people. Antigua and Barbuda is now respected once again among the Committee of Nations all over the world. Our opinion in regional and international affairs matters. Antigua and Barbuda's opinion and views matter right now in the regional and international arena. That was not the case prior to 2004. Nobody respected us. And so you have to understand what this issue is all about. We have returned that to Antigua and Barbuda, and that is important for the immediate future of this country. Respect, image, very important. And we can't return to a situation, my dear good people, where this blessed country of ours is being described as a rogue and vagabond state, and also the most corrupt nation on earth. I mean, we don't have to go back to all those evils that were inflicted upon the people of Antigua and Barbuda. Some of us are seeing the best days in our lives in terms of how we are being viewed by the world. my dear good people, that is what the United Progressive Party has done in 10 short years, as against 28 years of the Antigua Labour Party. We have turned things around to such a great extent, my dear good people, that some countries in the Caribbean and other parts of the world wonder how little Antigua and Barbuda has been able to survive what has happened in the world. And they give us a lot of credit for what we have been able to accomplish. Not only us, they have credited the people of Antigua and Barbuda, because whatever we may have been able to do, we could not have done it without your cooperation, your understanding. And so you have got to be given the credit as well, my dear good people. But we have done a good job to keep our country together. And we have got to maintain that. We can't derail ourselves at this time, my dear good people. So let them rant and let them rave. You have got to keep your head on. Understand what the issues are. Recognize how important leadership is for the future of this country. Recognizing now more than ever we need the United Progressive Party. Recognizing that your future is in your hands. And with the United Progressive Party, it will be in safe hands. And so, my dear good people, I want to urge all of us to continue to remain firm. We have got to remain firm for a third term. We have got to make sure that we repeat, my dear good people, because we have to. The job is not yet over. We have work to do. We have accomplished much, but the agenda is still there for us to accomplish even more for the people of Antigua and Barbuda. And so that is what I want to leave with you tonight. I want to leave with you tonight the fact that the work is there to be continued. We have got to take it to the next level. By God's help, and with a third term, my dear good people, the transformation process will move to a higher and greater height. And you, the people of Antigua and Barbuda, right across the board, will be the beneficiaries of our efforts. So I want you to remain strong and determined. Don't be deterred. As I tell you, we are not about creating any problems in Antigua and Barbuda. We are about going through our campaign, and we will campaign. We will do what we have to do peacefully. We're not troubling anybody. But I want to say once again, we are not troubling anybody. But if they trouble you, I don't want to say anymore. I don't have to say anymore. We're not interfering with anybody. We're going about our business, and we're campaigning, and we're doing what we have to do peacefully, because we don't have to do anything else. But if they interfere with you and they want to create problems, you just invoke the St. Paul's law. And you know what the St. Paul's law is. I don't have to tell you what that is. So, my dear good people, I am not quoting anything. I'm not urging you to do anything. I'm just speaking to reality. Because you cannot let them feel that you are afraid of them. That's all I'm saying to you, my dear good people. We're not afraid of anybody. We're going about our business. We're doing what we have to do. We carry out our campaign, whatever we're doing. But we're not going to sit down and allow them to trample us and walk over us, and we don't do anything about it. That's all I'm saying. So, my dear good people, I want to urge all of you to continue to support the United Progressive Party, the party of the people, for the people, and by the people. And so, my dear good people, as we bring the curtains down on this meeting, I want just to remind you that we will be supporting the Antigua and Barbuda Workers Union at Freetown on Sunday. Sunday is Palm Sunday. And you know, the AWU is at Freetown for their Sunday service. But we are going to add to that Sunday service the march. We're going to have a march. We used to have it years ago. We're going back to that. So we will have the march starting at 2 o'clock from the school, the Freetown School. We march up to the church. We have the service starting at 3 o'clock. And then after that, we usually have the socializing and so on with our refreshments and whatnot, and spend a wonderful afternoon in Freetown. So we have decided to work with the AWU in 2014 to make the Palm Sunday activity a resounding success. And I'm extending an invitation to all of our supporters to join us at Freetown on Sunday, Palm Sunday. First, you have to be there in time to participate in the march from the school, then to the service at 3 o'clock, and then to the socializing thereafter. My dear good people, we have had a wonderful session here tonight. I love what I see. I love what I feel. Listen out for other activities that are going to be taking place. I know a lot of you are waiting out. I know you know about you want to hear about the date and all that. But I know you're waiting out for some other things. But they will come. Don't worry. They will come. I know you want to be on the road again. I know you want to be on the road again. But you will be on the road. Don't worry. Strategically, we'll determine when that is. So, brothers and sisters, thank you very much for coming out in such tremendous numbers. Thank you very much for continuing to demonstrating loyalty and support for your organization. Because when you do that, you will be lending support to your country. The future of Antigua and Barbuda is in your hands. The future of Antigua and Barbuda will be in safe hands with the United Progressive Party. And of course, you know I can't end without asking you. Yes! 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 We have them! We have them! We have them! Again, good night. May God bless you. Have a safe journey home. Thank you very much for coming in such tremendous numbers.